In this episode of Secrets of the Soil, we're going to talk about the Atacama Giant. Was it an astronomical calendar, a site for alien landing, or something else entirely? Hello! Welcome to King Gideon Unveiled, a platform where we discover the hidden truth of the ages, and an organization whose mission is to use archaeology to preserve the human story. We do that through education, sharing stories like this one, and taking people on exciting adventures to see the ancient world in a whole new way. Join us on our journey. The Atacama Giant is a geoglyph in the hyper-arid plains of northern Chile. It was discovered by aerial reconnaissance teams in 2017, and it covers a staggering 2,600 acres. That's almost twice the size of the famous Nazca lines, which are also in Peru. This geoglyph is unique in that it has two sets of parallel lines arranged in such a way that they form two human figures. One is significantly larger than the other. The smaller figure measures 47 meters tall and 181 meters wide, and the larger figure is a whopping 68 meters tall and 211 meters wide. These enormous figures appear to be intentionally placed within the coordinates of the rising and setting sun at the equinoxes, solstices, and key constellations like Orion. Because of its scale, complexity, and astronomical alignments, the Atacama Giant is proving to be a controversial and fascinating archaeological site. Unfortunately, there's not much known about it yet because there has only been one scientific investigation of the site. In September of 2021, an international team of researchers came out with the first report on their investigation. They used ground-penetrating radar to identify possible structures beneath the geoglyph, examined the sediments to try to determine how it was made, and looked for organic material that could help them date the site. What they found was both surprising and perplexing. They discovered at least 3 layers of human activity from different time periods. The team identified 2 pre-Hispanic components and then another layer that appeared to have been constructed during the colonial period. And unfortunately, none of these layers included any obvious structures. There were some subtle anomalies that may represent subterranean architecture, but the data wasn't conclusive enough to say for sure. What they did find is a series of linear features that seem to intersect with the giant's eyes and mouth. So far, they think these may have been used in the construction of the giant itself, rather than being part of some sort of underlying structure. The scientists also found evidence that humans had been living in the area since at least 12,000 years ago. During the initial survey of the site, the team noticed a concentration of ceramic fragments, stone tools, and animal bones near the Atacama Giant. From this material, they were able to radiocarbon date the earliest signs of human occupation to around 12,000 years ago. Their analysis of the sediment and soil composition revealed that the area is naturally rich in manganese dioxide. It appears that prehistoric people would scrape the surface of the ground to expose this reddish-colored sediment, which they would then use to create pigments for rock paintings. In fact, the team found traces of ochre production as far back as 9,000 years ago. They also uncovered evidence of more recent pigment production dating to 1,500 years ago, and this appears to coincide with the creation of the geoglyph itself. So what does all of this tell us about the Atacama Giant? Well, it seems clear that the geoglyph is an astronomical calendar, but who created it and how old is it? It can't be earlier than 1,500 years ago because that's when the sediments were moved. But it might be more recent than that. Here's where things get controversial. According to archaeologists, there is no evidence of large-scale earthworks in the region before 1,000 years ago. That's because, until recently, the Andes were thought to have acted as a barrier between the Inca in the south and the Tiwanaku culture to the north. But now we know that there was interaction between these two societies. For example, the Tiwanaku built ceremonial centers, temples, and palaces made of massive stones that were expertly cut and shaped, but their skills weren't limited to masonry. The Tiwanaku were also capable of making large-scale earthworks. The best example of this is the huge pyramid of Pumapunku. This massive stepped pyramid consists of over 13,000 pieces of red sandstone. Each block weighs about 2 tons, and together they create a structure that rises 21 meters high and stretches 400 meters along its base. So it seems likely that the Tiwanaku were responsible for making the Atacama Giant, too. If so, it would have been constructed sometime after 1,000 years ago, possibly after the empire reached its peak around 800 years ago. But wait a minute. Isn't this supposed to be an astronomical calendar? How could it have been built so long after the empire peaked? Well, here's the thing. It's hard to say when exactly the giant was made. All we know is that it was constructed sometime after the ochre was produced. And there are many different kinds of astronomical alignments. Some happen every day. Others occur once a year at the equinoxes and solstices. Still others happen at specific points in the migration of constellations. Since the geoglyph was only recently discovered and no one has studied it closely, we don't know which kind of astronomical alignment it follows. It may be that it follows a daily or even a monthly cycle, in which case it may have been constructed very recently. As for the giant itself, well, there are plenty of theories about that as well. Many people believe that the smaller giant represents the Inca god Pachamama, and that the larger figure symbolizes the constellation of Orion. I mean, the resemblance is uncanny. Other people believe that the two giants are meant to represent a father and son. Since the figures are different sizes, it's possible that the astronomical alignments were added later to give the geoglyph a religious or spiritual meaning. But if that's true, why go to such great lengths to create an astronomical calendar in the first place? Well, some people think that the Atacama Giant was built to mark the return of the mythical ancestors of the Inca. According to legend, the first Inca king, Manco Capac, emerged from Lake Titicaca with his sister wife, Mama Oclo, and emerged carrying a staff topped with a golden disc. Some believe that this golden disc could have been a sophisticated piece of technology left behind by extraterrestrials. After all, Inti, the Inca sun god, was often depicted holding a circular object that looked suspiciously like a UFO. In fact, there are several ancient artifacts in South America that look like modern helicopters, airplanes, and submarines. So it's not surprising that some people believe ancient Americans had access to advanced technology. It's for this reason that some have speculated that the Atacama Giant was used to receive transmissions from aliens. If the Inca truly had contact with extraterrestrials, it makes sense that they would build a huge structure like this to help them communicate across the vast distances of space. After all, it's not easy to send a message to Alpha Centauri, even with the most advanced technology. But if you lined up just the right combination of mirrors and lenses, you might be able to catch the signals coming from far-away stars. And what better way to focus your telescopes than with a pair of enormous human figures? This isn't the only evidence of alien contact in South America. The Ica stones are another example. These 15,000 or so artifacts were discovered in the 1960s on the coast of Peru. They are incredibly detailed and weigh anywhere from 1 to 40 kilograms each. The stones feature everything from dinosaurs to surgical instruments, astrological charts to spaceships and aliens. Could these be real evidence of ancient astronauts? Perhaps the most compelling evidence of extraterrestrial contact comes from the Nazca lines themselves. When you examine the arrangement of lines, you can see that they connect to almost every significant constellation in the night sky. Not only that, but many of the lines are perfectly aligned with key astronomical events like the solstices and equinoxes. So did the Nazca people have contact with extraterrestrials too? Were they able to observe the night sky with such accuracy that they were able to map the positions of stars and planets? Or could it be that someone or something helped them? There is so much that we don't understand about these incredible discoveries. So keep watching. In our next episode, we'll dive deeper into the Atacama Giant and investigate the possibility that it was used as a landing site for extraterrestrial visitors. Did the Inca really have contact with aliens? What was the purpose of the Inca's astronomical alignments? And what exactly is going on with the mysterious linear features that cross the eyes and mouth of the giant? Tune in next time to find out. Thanks for watching. To learn more about the Inca and see what life was like in the heart of their empire, visit our channel. And thank you for joining us on our journey.